Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And this week, we've got something a little different for Valentine's Day. My wife wants me to call it Lawyers in Love. So we're happy to have and honored Amy Lawrence and Justin Lovely, who are lawyers out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I live now. And they're Pilma members, mastermind members. They got a great practice. They're great lawyers, great people. And I'm just glad that you agreed to do this. I know you're all busy as hell, and I appreciate you taking like this 30 minutes out to share, because I think you can help some people out there. Really, I do. And it's going to be fun.
Thanks for having us, Ken.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
man. So tell me about your law firm, and then I want you to go back, and then I want you to tell me how the heck y'all met. You're by the way,
we're going to tell them like the
yeah. And by the way, they're married.
Yeah,
I forgot to say that. Yeah, okay, so let's go. Tell us the whole deal.
Where do we start?
Well,
I'll let Amy start, because there's two versions, but
so
she does it. Go ahead.
First, how we met. We met in law school. I was a year ahead of him in law school. And so I was a 2L when he was a 1L. And I was the social chair of lawyer school is what I called it. And I always had the parties. I had the best house, all the good stuff, all the fun stuff. I was the keeper of the fun. So I had a big party to welcome everybody back to school. And he came in and he was kind of a smart ass. And he was like, "Who do you think you are?" Like he was a couple beers in or something. And he said, "Who do you think you are? Like the princess of law school?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. I get out." And then we became friends. After that, I kicked him out of my party. And then we started playing Scrabble together. Total nerd alert. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
We went on our first date to a like little drive-in place, because we were in Grundy, Virginia. And there's like no restaurants there. And they only took cash. And he only had a debit card, so I paid for the first meal.
So where we went to school, there was literally a pharmacy school and a law school, and that was it, man. It was a coal mining town. So
population 1,000.
Yeah, I never carried cash to this day, unless I'm going to a casino or something. So I had a credit card, a debit card. Those dudes just looked at me like, what the hell is this? And so Amy paid for it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then we started dating, and she graduated and went to
made a commitment to take the bar in South Carolina.
Yeah. And then I was going to go, I'm originally from Knoxville, Tennessee. So I was going to go take the South Carolina bar and then go to Knoxville or to Nashville and take the Tennessee bar. And so after 3 days of South Carolina, I was supposed to drive and then take the state specific in Tennessee. I said, to hell with it. I'm going to South Carolina. And so we were already dating, and she started working down here at the beach. And then
I got my first job, and then Justin hung a shingle. It was 2008. So for me to even have a job was a really big deal.
Yep.
And there was like no one hiring. I was supposed to be work at the solicitor's office, but the state went on a hiring freeze because of, the economy had tanked. And so Justin hung a shingle, and the back of his office, the little, what was it, like a 10 by 10?
Yep.
Like a little 10 by 10 office had backed up to my office.
It was like an alleyway in between our offices. So
yeah. And then I had a crazy boss who was nuts, and I left there and we started working together immediately, and we shared a desk, and we were in that 10 by 10 room, and I would answer the phone and be like, "Thank you for calling the lovely law firm. How can I help you?" "Oh, let me put you through." And then I'd give it to Justin.
They had a Walmart, what's that, Walmart, whatever the Walmart track phone kind of thing. And we would pretend to cows.
And then like I would meet with clients, and he'd take a walk around the block, and then he would meet with clients, and I took a walk around the block, because we had no conference room, no anything. I mean, God bless the people that hired us and kept us afloat that first year.
Yeah.
Because we were a mess.
So neither one of you were from Myrtle Beach, right?
No, I'm from North Carolina, High Point area.
And Knoxville. So how the hell did you get clients that first year?
Hustling, man.
Well, if I can't do anything, I know how to make $1. Okay, that's what Justin always say. If we don't know how to do anything else, like if we're going to be car salesman, we would be the best car salesman you've ever seen. If we're toilet scrubber, maybe not Justin, but I'd be the best toilet scrubber that made the most money. But we just hustled. We beat the pavement, handed out cards, and we're really just good and kind to people.
Yeah. And we would take cards. Wow, this is before we had kids. Anytime we went anywhere, we left cards. If we went out to like a bar or restaurant, I threw my business card everywhere. We always made it a point to take people out to lunch and let them start eating before we started talking business, right? So they could make a commitment. And we never really, we just kept spreading the word about us and doing good stuff. And then meeting a lot of people. Amy leveraged some people. And then I got Amy had started building her name, and then the first case I got was a DUI case, actually. And the guy, something crazy, I don't know. I worked it out.
He said he won 7 or
yeah, he was going to pay me. He was going to pay me, after court. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I don't have any money anyway, so I worked it out for him. And then he paid me, and then we just threw it all back. We started doing some direct mail. I actually even bought. That was probably the final stage of the phone book, but I did a little cool little business card, a little unique ad. I wish I could still find it. And somehow that started generating some phone calls, believe it or not. And then taught myself the internet. And literally we had no clients, but a lot of time, right? So we would go to Barnes and Noble, and I would literally read all the web books, read all the business books.
Book on SEO that you could find.
Yeah, and that was
taught himself.
Yeah, that first page. I mean, I built that first web page, and it was just perfect timing because people weren't really getting into it then. It was still, they didn't understand it. People were still spending money in the phone book. It was kind of the tail end of that. Digital was just getting started. And then I started running a pay-per-click myself. So I was running our own pay-per-click, and then it just started. We got one motorcycle case, and then we started getting another injury case. And then we did the shift from criminal defense and door law to personal injury.
Yeah. And Amy, you still do criminal, right?
I do. I do predominantly criminal, and then I have like a niche civil practice where I do 1983 civil rights actions. I do cases where women have been sexually assaulted, taking on kind of failure of systems. So yeah.
So we've came a long way.
A long way.
Yeah. And so now, what does your law firm look like?
We've got.
Well, now we're out of that 8x8, 8x10 office. We've got a Myrtle Beach office, a Florence office, and a Goose Creek, North Charleston office. Mm-hmm. We staff Myrtle Beach and Charleston, and we've got 5 different law pods. We've got she's doing her thing with the civil rights practice. I got mass torts going on. We got all kinds of crazy stuff. We're looking for more office space now, and
30 staff members.
It's a whole different animal. Now we're trying to develop leadership teams and remove ourselves from the day to day. And I've been trying to do that, as you well know, because through our masterminds for the last 2 years. It's hard. It's harder than getting it started, man. So
Mama's tired.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I tell lawyers sometimes be careful what you wish for, because, a lot of people join Pillman to start with. They're small, and they're looking to get more cases. And then when we show them how, or you guys like you show them how, the cases start coming in, and they got more than they can handle, and they don't know what to do, and then they have to go in and processes, infrastructure. As you get bigger, things get more complex. As you guys very well know, it's
more money, more problems, Ken.
That's it. The bigger you get, the more stuff you have to deal with. The more employees you got, the more headaches you have. I mean, that's the truth. And the key is finding really good people. And it's hard. I mean, it is. So tell me though. So because we were talking about this before we started. So we've got several members that are husband and wife teams. But I admire it because I think it's tough. And I mean, I want to know what the secret is, because you guys always act so happy and get along. And I mean, what's the secret sauce? I mean, well, I'm sure you don't get along all the time, but far as I can tell, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like y'all, you got 2 boys, and I know that keeps you busy. And I mean, you're doing the motorcycle stuff, and you're doing the mass torts, and you're doing, you're always trying something new, which I told you a long time ago. You reminded me of me when I was your age. I would try crazy stuff, and half of it didn't work, but the other half did, and I'll be way ahead of the curve for a year or 2 before everybody figured it out, which was a really good competitive advantage. And I think that's something you're doing really well. both of you. I mean, that's where I see you got the edge, to be honest with you, because you're willing to try new things. But
Amy lets me try new things too. I get, because a lot of my stuff is out there sometimes, but we just keep grinding. She gives me the authority to play, because that's what I really like, is producing the cases and making the clients happy. And then she's willing to get in the dirt, get in the mud, and push the cases to the finish.
I always joke that I used to be a show pony, but those days are gone, and now I'm just no workhorse.
Yeah.
Because Justin has some crazy idea, and I'm helping implement it as hard and fast as I can.
Yeah. So how do y'all make it work? Because I mean, y'all in the same building, right?
We're not even in the, we still share an office.
What?
And not because we have to. Matter of fact, I've got open offices, an open office downstairs. I could go jump in any minute, and we used to have separate offices. We tried, especially when we did this office, and he just was just in here all the time, and we're always bouncing ideas off of each other, and we were living in each other's office, and it just seemed silly. So I would just went and bought another desk, just like mine, and put, I'm on the opposite side of the screen. It's really pretty over there with all kinds of art and stuff. And then he's got all the boring, yucky stuff. I have all the things that my clients have made me over the years, and Judge Barbie that people bring me and stuff like that. I think though, the reason why it works, I think there's a couple of things, reason why it works for us. And it just, people are look at us like we have are crazy and have a third eye when we tell them that not only do we work together, but we also share an office, is that I really like him. He's my favorite person in the whole wide world. Matter of fact, I could cry thinking about it. I love him so much. And I know I don't get upset about things. If he says something off the wall or off the cuff, I know that his heart is in the right place and his best interest is mine all the time. Yeah. And when he wants to do something off the wall or whatever, spend some money on, very rarely do I ever say ixnay on that. And if we have a discussion about it. But also, we don't compete with each other. And I think that's when I see marriages, when they try to work together, two lawyers, that's when it doesn't work. They compete, right? It's who's the better lawyer, who's trying the most cases, who's getting the better. And we don't have that kind of competition. His success is my success and mine is his. And nothing makes me happier than to see him shine. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the real difference in what I see in our friends that went to law school together and got married. The majority of them aren't married anymore, and they don't practice together anymore when they tried.
And if we ever disagree, we just don't do it.
We just don't do it. Right.
Whether that's practice management, getting a case, even something personal. I mean, it's not worth the fight,
I also don't hold on. When I get upset about things, I don't let it linger. I let it go. You know what I mean?
Most of the time.
Yeah. If I did, I'd be mad at him all. I mean, he says shit every day that I could be pissed about. Yeah. I mean, I always joke. I'm I'd choke you, but I can't get my hands around your neck.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Yeah.
So what the last 2 years, what have been y'all's biggest challenge? Overall, just the practice of law, and then personally dealing with all this stuff, all this growth, because y'all had a lot of growth, right? I mean, you've had some tremendous growth.
Thanks, Pilma.
Yeah, I know. No, it's in the business, again, it's going back to I'm trying to really separate myself, because I've been pulled back into, you get to stages as you're growing your business where you can kind of get back, stop working cases, and then the cases get more challenges. You got to get back. Somebody's got to take charge and drive this train, or it's going to go over the edge, right? You got to grow or die. And so the biggest challenge for us is, we've had a leadership team that came in, or a leader that we hired, and it didn't work out, but it kind of enlightened us to what we were really looking for into a director of operations and a COO. And so we're searching for that person again, and we're not just going to hire anybody. So that's kind of been our struggle for the last year, is trying to put that into place. And at the same time where, we've set this up to where we can leave. If we got to do something for our kids, we're out of here. We're not going to be this guy who's going to be chained to a desk. Be chained to it, yeah, for hours, for 80 hours a week. While I do sometimes put those kind of hours in, if my kid's got a football game, I coach my kids. We go to all their school functions. We're not going to be, taking a rain check on that and relying on somebody else to send us a picture. And we made that a priority.
And that's a blessing, because not everybody gets to do that.
When you're defining what is success, I mean, that's definitely an element of success for us. It's not just about the money. While the money is there, I mean, and the cases are there, the practice is valued. We gotta have that home life too. And so
that goes with my definition. I mean, I always define success as doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, with whom I want to do it with.
Yeah,
you can do that. Then, of course, it takes money to get to that place. No lie about it. I mean, and it gives you freedom. Money gives you freedom.
It takes years and work and time and all the things to get there, but you can get there.
Yeah, I mean, money doesn't buy you happiness. I've seen some very miserable rich people, but what it does, it gives you the freedom to be able to do things that do make you happy, like be with your children, right? And watch them grow up.
Fleeting, right?
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I was crying about it 2 days ago, just thinking about it. Like, you don't even realize that they change into these like little people, and before you know it, they've already changed twice, and they've already become somebody else, and you don't want to miss all that stuff.
Yeah,
life is short.
Yeah, it is, as we know. I mean,
when I take my last breath, I'm not going to say, "Damn, I really knocked it out of the park and got all those cases for under $1,500." My KPIs were really in line. You know what I mean? That's not what's going to be running through our head.
Yeah, and there's something interesting about y'all. It just blew my mind when you first started the masterminds. Is that you guys were like TV stars nationally on this show. Tell us about that. How did that happen? Tell us all about that. That's pretty cool.
We're about to be on Dateline again.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're saving that for we'll save that one. No, our first foray Amy's first foray I was not involved. I was the babysitter because we had a newborn baby. She had a client, and she filmed for Dr. Phil, because we were getting some crazy clients coming in, crazy stories. And somehow one of our clients got on the Dr. Phil show. Dr. Phil wanted to do it down in Charleston. We'd go to Charleston. They put us up in a hotel room. I'm there with our newborn baby while Amy goes and films this episode. Right. All right. And then we one of our went to law school with somebody, right? Yeah, went to law school with somebody in North Carolina who represented Janelle on Teen Mom. And she had moved to South Carolina, and he was not barred in South Carolina, and he just called us.
We refer cases back and forth to each other because he's a wonderful lawyer, and so he called me and he goes, "Batter up," and I was like, "Batter up? What the hell are you talking about?" And he was like, "She moved to South Carolina and she's already been arrested." And I started joking. I was like, "Okay, all right." So we jumped right in, and I mean, we were on Teen Mom too.
Like 3.5 seasons.
Four seasons. Yeah.
So get on Netflix and you can watch all the extra.
This, but I was trending on Twitter for many years because I would tell her exactly. I talked to her just like I would any of my other clients. I didn't pull any punches, and they loved it.
Yeah.
But
she was getting profiled too by the local police. Even the police wanted to get on MTV.
Crazy.
It was one of those reality TV traps that she got caught up into. And luckily, Amy was able to get all of it thrown out. So she's got her life back together and moved away from this town.
Yeah. She still calls me like for mom advice, which is really sweet. She's like, "Hey, my baby's got a rash on its butt. If I see this picture, do you think I should take it to the doctor?" It was like during COVID. And I'm like, "Oh, this is what you need. You got to have Destidin." Like I started, and you mix all this together, put that on that baby's butt, and it'll be figured out. Like, but we still talk.
Yeah, those were wild times because we were just getting the practice going. That MTV deal came in. People still stop Amy in the airport and say, "You're the lawyer from Teen Mom." So they kind of cut me out because I don't look as good as her. But I was on there for like 1.5 seasons. So, or you'll see my hands in the background.
We tried a case on TV. It was the first case, the first trial ever done on MTV. I remember we showed up for court because they never let the cameras in, right? And the judge let him in. And I looked at the judge and I go, Judge Livingston, I'm wearing horizontal stripes. What were you thinking? Like, never in a million years should I be wearing horizontal stripes on TV. And she's like, "Do you need to go home?" And Justin's like smushing my face. "No, we're not going home. She'll be fine." And we won that trial.
It's great.
I need to get that footage and repurpose it with my...
It goes through crazy on TikTok. My friends from high school and college and law school will send me these TikToks where people are making TikToks about it.
Yeah. So, and then y'all did some really high profile cases. I remember the deal where you sued the sheriff's department down here at Myrtle Beach and about the rape victims, that they were raping rape victims or something.
It was insane. So I got a call. I do a lot of victims. I do a lot of pro bono. And I will say this too. He understands my heart. Like, my heart is in pro bono work. And years ago, he looked at me and he was like, when I say he's trying to beat it out of me, I don't mean that literally. I mean it like browbeat it out of me. Like, time is money. You're doing these cases. It's taking time away from our business. But like, that's the girl you fell in love with, right? That's why that's who he loves. And I told him, I said, you can try to get that out of me, but then I'm not that girl anymore. And he never said another word about it. And so through my victims advocate work, like I'm an attorney for the Rape Crisis Center, I got a call and they said, Amy, you got to hear this. And so the investigator tasked with investigating rape cases here in Horry County, was raping rape victims. He was dismissing unfinding the case, right? Not bringing any charges, despite there being DNA, videos, you name it, evidence of the sexual assault that they were reporting. And he wasn't telling the women. He was acting like he was investigating the cases, and then he was sexually assaulting them, which is insane. And we ended up having 5 victims, and that the statute of limitations had not ran. He ended up having like 40 some victims. But the statute of limitations that we could still bring a case were those 5, and we brought those, and 3 of which we settled, and then 2 we took to trial back in last May. And I tried back-to-back civil rights trials and 1983 actions, which I didn't realize was such a big deal until my buddy goes, Amy, you don't understand what a big deal this is? He said, my claim to fame is that I got past summary judgment and then I lost. But like, so we tried him to verdict and got really great verdicts, and won and told those women's story. So it was really, really awesome. We tried a month of cases in Columbia. Pretty awesome.
I remember you got this guy out of prison, been in prison for like 20 years.
Yep. Did an exoneration case.
You've done some great stuff. But
we had, when COVID opened, we had the first civil, the first criminal.
Well,
law firm. We had all.
I tried the first high court general sessions case in South Carolina, the first magistrate case, the first trial. I tried the first civil case in the state, which was a case against the school system with a young man who had a traumatic brain injury. Yeah. And then I tried the first federal case, civil case in South Carolina during COVID. And it was a products liability case against Hyundai.
Yeah, we got all those.
So we hit them all.
So literally when the courts opened, the roster we were on every one of them. We were like, oh my God, but we got it done. So
that's what you want.
We won all of them.
That's great.
Every freaking one of them.
Good lawyers in love. In love with the law and in love with each other. Yeah. So what do you see? You're always looking ahead. I know you are, Justin. What do you see as the big deal? We talked about, me and you both were talking about videos 2 or 3 years ago, and you got way ahead of the curve. And I know you got thousands of videos out there on YouTube. I know you do. Mm-hmm. If anybody just go hit, what's it under so they can go? Unbelievable how many videos you put out.
Oh, just at The Lovely Law Firm. And if you want to see me on YouTube, at The Lovely Law Firm, Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we're everywhere. Yeah, we're cranking it out. Anywhere you consume social media, we're knocking it out.
The goal is to like just saturate, right? Like put out the content.
Yep. Yeah. So we're trying to do that. And then this artificial intelligence craze, man, that's going to take over everything. And I don't know if it'll completely replace, but it's definitely going to increase everybody's productivity. And the lawyers who harness that are going to get a lot more out of their employees. They're probably going to have to hire less employees, or they're going to be able to hire cheaper overseas employees to do a lot of the work that, high 5-6-figure employee here in the States is going to cost them. And it's going to increase their bottom line, give them more money to grow. And if you get ahead of that now, you're going to be positioned to use it. If you stay behind in the times, you're going to get passed away by young bucks figuring it out. So that's kind of the stuff I'm messing with now, is trying to see how we can use it.
Yeah, in fact, you graciously agreed to be to present at our PILMA Super Summit, May 16th through the 18th out in New Orleans.
Yep.
This year, on how you use it, not just for somebody else will talk about the marketing part. Plus, I didn't want you to reveal your secrets, but how to manage, because I know you like to keep that stuff kind of undercover. Maybe share it with the masterminds.
Yeah.
But,
I keep it a secret as long as I can until the cat gets out of the bag, and then I'll jump in. But yeah, I'm going to present, and I'm going to try to, show some ways we're using it, some ways I'm testing using it. And then hopefully we can get a discussion going, and, everybody can kind of just run their brains, and we figure it out and come away from the summit with some more actionable tips that everybody can use to grow their practice.
yeah, it's great, man.
It's wild too, man. I mean, it's,
I know I've been
about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it is wild, and I compare it to the computer chip was for computers, and also I think you were talking about 2008 getting on the internet before everybody figured it out. I think it's going to be the young bucks. I mean, we had some mastermind members, younger guys like you, that were up in St. Louis that were getting trucking cases left and right, getting more trucking cases than the guys that were spending millions on TV because they were doing PPC and internet stuff, and they were just killing it, and nobody could understand what they were doing. And then everybody figured it out sooner or later, of course. But the deal is, you make it while you can, just like when local service ads come out, and all the Pilma people, they were always signed up even before it got there, ready to go. And for the first 90, 120 days, everybody killed it.
Yeah, that was great.
And then everybody figured it out. It's like you said.
Yeah.
But you got to get it while it gets good. And it's always good to be first, right?
If you can be the first guy to market, I mean, you're going to get a competitive advantage, man. And it only takes a couple cases to make your year. And if you can get them when you're trying something new, I mean, that's kind of been our strategy. Try something new, get a couple cases, big cases. I mean, there's your year. Your year's made. So it's worth it to dig in.
You get a lot of really good motorcycle cases, which Myrtle Beach is a good place to get them.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're blessed because we got the two big rallies, and we've kind of been entrenched here in the motorcycle community. But yeah, it's a whole nother brand, the Myrtle Beach BikerLawyer.com brand, and it's been great. But I mean, anybody can replicate that, and that's kind of not. It's more grassroots, not really the digital stuff. But you can use some of the digital stuff to complement your grassroots marketing, and it really helps grow some kind of practice like that.
Yeah, it's great. I always said there's riches and niches.
There really is. There really is.
Hold yourself out as an expert without saying that word if it's not allowed in your state. Some states you can do it, some states you can't. Yeah, but good deal. All right, so give us, both of you, I want you to give us some parting advice for our listeners and viewers. What advice would you give them? And it could be about anything. It could be about practicing law together. It could be about marketing. It could be about management. It could be about anything.
Well, if you practice with your wife, leave it at the office if you have anything, and then bring it back.
The office not once.
Try to and try to separate the office from your home life as best you can. And if you can do those things, I mean, you'll be a success in your marriage and your business. Because there's a time to be husband and wife, and then there's a time to work and grow. So
I think we really keep each other as our priority. And like I always make a joke with the kids because they always say, who do you love the most? And I always say I love daddy the most, just a little bit more, because one day they're going to grow up and they're going to leave us, right? That's the goal. They're going to grow up and have their own families and their own stuff, and it's just going to be us two when it's all said and done. And I still want to like him as much as I like him today. And so we just keep each other as a priority. And I think when we do that, the rest falls into place.
Yeah, I agree. Great advice. Great advice. Well, listen, thank y'all so much. I'm gonna let you get back to work on all those cases, all those boxes I see back there.
Yeah.
Trudging through.
That's accounting getting stored done from last year. Yeah.
All right, you kids take care, and I'll see you in Key West. At the mastermind meet next month.
We'll be there. Thank you, Ken.
All right, thank you. All right, happy Valentine's Day. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.